What the heck am I doing drinking this dirty brown bean juice? You have got to be kidding me. G'day everybody, welcome back to the channel. I've just driven all the way over to Crystal Brook to pick up the lift cylinder for the 8910, for the Borgo 8910. They rang me and told me that cylinder was in, and I thought I really want to go pick that up and get that on the bar, because we're coming around to the time of the year where we're going to be needing it real soon. And I've got all the way over here and they've ordered a wing lift cylinder for it, not the main lift cylinder for the bar. So spare parts counter, incorrect spare parts counter is now at 2 for the season. And the funny thing about all that is when I ordered the cylinder, I said we got a new cylinder only like a month or two ago, so I'm not sure if it's the exact same part number as that or if there's a slight variance from side to side, because the side that we replaced had the depth control on it. And the guy looked up the parts and goes, no, they're the same part number both sides, but obviously must have been a miscommunication, and we're talking about different cylinders. But anyway, is what it is. So Dad is away for most of this week. I just got to go up now. There's a mob of sheep. I just got to check some water for them, clean out some troughs maybe, turn on a pump. I'm going to put out a bale of hay for them. They're getting pretty low on feed where they are on that hill. I'm going to open up a few gates for them, and then yeah, when Dad comes back in a couple of days, he's got to move them back down here onto some stubbles anyway. So I'm just going to throw a bale of hay out so they got a bit of something extra there to chew on. Then after that I got to go out to Blaley, and yeah, we got to do much the same out there, check some troughs and some water and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll get all that done and clear off the chores for Graham. Well, once again, I don't think I need to get out and check that tank. That is overflowing. We'll go turn that pump off. Yep, that looks alright. So I just dropped this bale of hay here on the top of this hill. Now, I had some very interesting advice from Dad last night on the phone. He said, yeah, take the bale of hay up there tomorrow. All I've been doing is cutting the strings and then just doing a big doughy and just flinging it off the back. And I said, oh, what, really? Literally just cut it and then just go fast and turn and just let it fly off the side? And he's like, yeah, sometimes it comes up, you know, off in small bits, other times it comes off in big chunks, but there's 600, 700 sheep up there, so they'll just tidy it up. So, hey, boss's orders, boss gets what he wants, let's do it. Let's see how we go. Looks like you guys didn't go so well. That felt totally unnecessary, but it is done. We'll clean out a couple of troughs and then we're out of here. Well, these paddocks haven't had sheep in them for a while, as you can tell. Alright, done. Let's get out of here. I suppose feeding out hay that way is a lot quicker than standing on the back with a fork and pushing it off one biscuit at a time, but it's probably a bit harder on the ute. And so if anyone's wondering what Graham's doing all the time while I'm fixing stuff, this is pretty much it. So we'll head out to Blaley North now and do a bit of the same out there, but I do have to make a pit stop on the way to watch an auction. So yeah, anyway. Well, that was enthralling. Everything made silly money, of course, so is what it is. They love a fresh drink. Absolute idiots probably jumping all through that trough I just cleaned. Apparently we're having a bit of trouble getting water pumping up to the tank up there by the old house. Dad was saying he thought that there might have been some hail out here at one point that's damaged these solar panels, but I'm not really sure I can see what he means. But I don't know if you guys can see those strips up the panel. I don't really know what they are, that's a bit unusual. But anyway, we'll let the professionals sort it out. It really is just getting to that time of the year now where things are starting to look really sad around the place. Starting to run out of feed, it's just been dry for so long, you know, we're getting back towards winter again, and that first rain is just going to be a beautiful thing whenever it comes. I hope that it's earlier than the last 3 years, because we have not been able to cop a decent break, but we'll wait and see. We could very well be waiting until the end of May again or something like that, but I hope that it's sooner. Oh, that's got to be at least 2/3 full. It's not too bad. Anyway, let's get out of here. That's the funny thing about farming in South Australia, or where we do. You know, we could get a decent, like a really decent rain now, and we could go out and actually seed some vetch and have some green paddocks in a few weeks' time. Or we can be sitting around until late May, the start of June, waiting for a rain and just everything looking sad and miserable. And by the time that time of the year rolls around, it's just freezing cold and nothing wants to grow. So it's just, yeah, it's just highly variable. And an early rain here just makes such a difference. And when I say seed something now, it would be purely something for sheep feed. It wouldn't be crops. It's too early to seed crops, but we could definitely put a break crop in, like some vetch, and get that up and away now for the stock to graze. Bit of fossil juice. I swear this shit only happens to me. But you guys know how it rolls here. I show it all, the good, the bad, and the flat out ugly. So what you're looking at there is a bucket full of paddy melons. So this paddock here really needed another summer spray. It was one of the first ones that I sprayed, and of course, because it was one of the first ones I sprayed, we ended up getting a whole heap more rain after that. Well, it's germinated quite a few weeds and a lot of paddy melons in here, and I needed to come back probably 3 or 4 weeks ago and hit it again, but unfortunately at that time the sprayer was going down into downtime for the wheel motor. The wheel motor's over in Sydney. So paddy melons are basically a big vine that grows over the ground. You come back to seed, they wrap up around everything. They're going to cause me no end of grief. I either deal with it now or I deal with it in the future. I'm dealing with it now. Just come out and done a bit of mechanical weed removal and piled them up. It's not widespread across the entire paddock. They tend to grow most prevalently where the sheep camp or down around the trough there, wherever the sheep seem to hang out a lot. That's where they mainly are. So spent a couple of hours up here last night hoeing them out, putting them in the bucket now. We'll get rid of them. I like to think that I'm not the only farmer that deals with stuff like this, but man, I feel like I'm alone at the top of that mountain. So speaking of not having the sprayer before, the wheel motor is done in Sydney. It should hopefully be on the way back in the next day or two. They pulled it all apart. They didn't find anything really wrong inside of it. They just put a rebuild kit through it and bench tested it, and they're sending it back. So it's stressful not having that machine, I tell you what, because it causes situations like that back there. But hopefully we can get that back soon, and then we can smash it all back together and we can have it running, ready to roll for seeding. So I'm actually going to turn around and go straight back up to that paddock now that I was just in. There's a pile of lime in there that needs another wet down. Speaking of lime, we should hopefully be spreading gypsum and lime next week, which would be great because they finally found a part for the Luigong. Dad broke an air valve or something on there a while ago, and it's been honestly broken down for about 3 months. So we finally got a part. He's picking that up in Adelaide this week. So we'll be able to get that beast going. We might, when we get back, give the loader a fluid check, grease, clean out some filters, radiator, just make sure that's all good to go, because yeah, we want to start getting spreading. That pile of lime is the one that the neighbour's sheep got on and trampled. That's why it looks so messy. But we'll put some diesel in this because it's just about out of fuel, and refill the water. Well, fireman season's another 5 or 6 weeks here, so better not leave it in the shed empty in case we need it. Right, well everything's full on that and ready to rumble if we need it. But before we give this thing a birthday, we'll get all the auto steer componentry back in here so she is ready to drive itself down the paddock. Now if you're wondering where our battery powered rattle gun is, so am I. So if you find it, let me know. Put the screen in and then we're done, but no doubt at all this thing is going to need some calibrations, because that's just the way it is. Every time you swap machines, there's always some calibrations to be done. Now I noticed after I put that auto steer stuff in that it wasn't turning on, and I had a feeling that when this thing was broken down and we were mucking around here with these battery terminals that maybe we left something off. Well, I was 100% correct. There's my 2 earth leads right there for the TopCon system. So we've got to connect those up so everything's working. Well, I hopped in the cab and it was already turned on, so I think we'll shut that off. Looks like everything's got juice now. So I've given that thing a really good check over, because we have to spread not only gypsum and lime, we've also got to do a fair bit of snail bait as well, so that's going to have to do a fair bit of work. So I just want to make sure everything's right on it before we head out in the paddock with it. Now, what I have down here is the hitch for the air seeder. Now, that's been off since like last seating because we turned a little bit too sharp, gave it a little bit of a tweak. Anyway, we're gonna get that back on there now. Then this air seeder is ready to go for seeding. So that'll just be something that I can get off my mind. It's done, ready to roll. Put a little bit of the slippery stuff on here. So now I just got to figure out where all these hydraulic lines ran before we pulled it apart and put all the clamps back on the side. Luckily I took some photos, so hopefully I can refer to those if I really need to. Well, that's all done apart from, I've got one clamp here that I'm missing 2 bolts on, and for the life of me I cannot find them anywhere, so I'll have to go find a couple of bolts for it at some stage and just put that last clamp on, but that's all ready to go otherwise. Beautiful. Hey mate, you have seen better days, no doubt about it. So I think for the rest of the day we might throw some oil in this engine, new filter, a couple of spark plugs, grease any of the grease nipples on the belt, and just get this seed and fert trailer ready to roll as well. And then, I mean, that'll be 2 things actually finished and ready for seeding then. So I'm still yet to find a good way to change the oil on this thing because the drain plug is down here. Now, as soon as you let that out, that oil just goes all over this trailer. There's no getting away from it. There's no way of really getting anything under there or draining it into something. So I do have that oil extractor, which I have used or shown you guys before, but I've tried putting that down the dipstick tube and it doesn't go far enough. So, or I don't know, it didn't fit last time. Maybe I'll try and see if I've got a thinner tube to put down there. If not, maybe I'll put a thicker tube on and I'll literally pull that out and I'll try sucking from there and we'll see how we go. Should be fun. All right, attempt number 1. Let's see whether this will reach down and get in there. Well, we seem to be getting something, but how much will be the question. So the thin straw gets down there, but we'll have a look, we'll take the plug out and see how much oil is actually left in there after this. I've got a feeling there'll still be a bit. Well, that is without a doubt the cleanest I've ever done that job. So the small straw got down in there and got most of it out, didn't get all of it, but yeah, that's my method from now on. Oi, bit too keen there on the trigger. I'm not even going to attempt to clean that out. That's due for a new one. Well, that's another one bites the dust. Well, kind of. Need an air filter there and a couple of bolts over for the air seeder, but we'll call them done. Ooh, that was close. Alrighty guys, I'm going to call it a day here now. That's all I've got for you for this episode. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone as always for watching the videos. We really do appreciate it. If you want to see more videos or you want to support the channel, just consider liking and subscribing because that really helps us out. You guys have yourselves a good one, and until next time, see ya.